Day started off with 2D20 and GDSR. So we're currently waiting on them right now to get into the lobby. And we are here with Ultimate Ghost as well from 5JDX.
Hello there.
So, what do you think is going to happen between these two teams?
I honestly have no idea. I believe everything can happen here. Give me 1 second while
Yep.
I announce the match.
All right, I'm going to get the timer started.
So you do have River City.
River City Conquest, first person full team. Yep. All right, and team timer for team 2 is starting. So GDSR does have 7 pilots, so hopefully they might be able to get one more.
Team 2 seems to be only having 7 players.
Yeah, hopefully they can get one more in. If not, this will be a very interesting match. You know,
Especially since like 7v7 starts to be the breaking point where strats change a lot. Especially at these lower levels. Where in 8v8 you can still pull off long range strats, but in 7v7 or 6v6 it really deteriorates into just DPS pushes.
oh yeah, 100%. All right, both teams are locked.
Let's see what they're going to do.
Yeah, 2D20 sitting at 510 tons and GDSR sitting at 445. I'm probably expecting a little bit of a push from GDSR.
I would expect this to be quite pushy, especially with 7 mechs. No, with 7 mechs against 8 I would never push, because in a push you like your mech disadvantage starts to really show. Right?
I'm over here at Epsilon.
Meanwhile in a trade you can just win.
Yeah, but then again, just the matches I've seen today or seen in the past couple of days from this map, it's been a lot of just straight push, straight pushing the airport.
Yes, but I don't think that's what GDSR should be doing. And they are taking dual Marauder 2s, a 4L and an Alpha. Dual Night Gear, dual one Assassin, so they're dropping a medium. Very interesting.
Yeah, and then over here at 2D20 side, we have a Laser Vomit Timberwolf, a Blood Asp, Firestarter, a Capping Incubus, another Timberwolf, a Veagle, an Executioner, and a Kentaro. What's on?
It's a Daka Blood Asp, and the rest of the
Yep.
bigs are Laser Vomit.
Where is that Incubus? Because I am curious.
The Incubus 5 is a cap bot. Should
Yep,
be medium pulse and machine guns.
3 medium pulse, 4 heavy machine guns.
So it's AC10 ER small night gear. Interesting. Why not ER PPC? AC10 ER medium night gear, even more interesting. A Daka Marauder 2.
Two Mead Pulse, 6 ER small Firestarter.
And a very interesting Daka Marauder. So this is full Daka from GDSR. Meanwhile,
It looks like
2D20 rushing into it with Laser Vomit. That's not the play here. I'm assuming they don't know what GDSR is bringing and where they're at.
This Night Gear is in a really bad place.
But you just should never rush into something that you haven't scouted.
100%. What's in these Marauders? Oh, the Marauders are 2 Ultra 5s, 2 Ultra 2s.
Exactly. GDSR needs to realize that they're gonna lose if they keep trading around this ridge, and they just need to W key now that it's so, like, this match is super close.
2D20, most of them are there. It is a 7v7 right now, with the Veagle coming up in behind.
Exactly. GDSR just needs to bring that superior DPS into the fight.
And there goes Servanis.
You should get the Blood Asp in a bit. Yeah, the Blood Asp is pretty much dead.
Sir Haven and Grifter goes down with Plano.
This is pretty much over.
Yeah, all that Blood Asp is in the rear of Ghost. With a Firestarter in his rear.
Blood Asp is pretty much dead. There's not much he can do.
There, down goes Ghost. And there goes that Blood Asp.
Yes, and the other Marauder is, oh well, has no legs anymore. So that's it, apart from that one fire.
Yep. So first win, of course, goes to 2D20.
Now they just need to grab one more cap, I think.
And that Indigo Man still sitting at 99% in that Veagle. Curious to see how much damage he actually does.
I'm very curious on how much those Daka Marauders actually did.
So from 2D20, Sorter 342, Yuntao 285, Canadian Cyrus 316, Plato 183, Shaz 295, Indigo Man 217, General Sapphire 62, and Tear in doing 152.
And you see the Night Gears both doing, like, not a lot of damage. And apart from the fact that this is 7v8.
I think what the highest damage was Ghost, OTCS, and that Marauder Alpha.
If you go to the map strat, we can see that. What basically happened is that 2D20 pushed up right to this line, with GDSR sitting in these buildings. And the first 20 seconds of that engagement are the most important ones, where GDSR has to realize that they're going to lose the trades against Laser Vomit, but they're going to win the DPS fight, so they have to just W key in. It's not a long distance, they would have easily won the match. Well, assuming 8v8, the one player difference really is huge in comp, but well, you can't change that. But what happened is that they took 2 or 3 trades to realize that, and by that time, one of the Night Gears was already pretty much dead, and the other one was heavily damaged. So they really couldn't bring the superior DPS mechs to do anything.
Yeah. Again, just yeah, like you said, just having that one pilot down, missing that one mech, which it was a medium mech that they were missing. Just wasn't enough. They didn't have enough guns there to do anything.
Yeah, and then again, like that's if you bring Daka and you see anything other than a full SRM rush coming away, you pretty much need to W key. You cannot trade with Laser Vomit. It's pretty much impossible. And here's the other thing, like, at the beginning of the match, 2D20 just straight up like YOLO'd underneath the bridge. And if they had gone further, if they had gone into the city without scouting first, without knowing anything, they would have lost that match because they run into all those mechs with much higher sustain, much higher DPS. But they just hold that ridge at their optimal range and outtrade them. So yes, you need scouting first, and you need to know what your enemy is doing to push it, but then you need to be incredibly decisive.
Yeah, whether that just be like a mislinks flying or even UAVs, but Team 1 just got locked.
Looking at domination on Hibernal. Very interesting lance setup there from 2D20 with a full Alpha Bravo stack. That means Kappa side.
You think we're going to see another push with 500 tons?
I'm gonna say they're doing something very weird because a full like fast push strat wouldn't take 500 tons, and they are spawn wise completely ignoring the spine side. So I think this will be like a weird Kappa side trade setup, maybe even.
We'll see. All right, both teams are locked. We got 500 tons coming from 2D20 and 470 coming from GDSR. We are going.
And what max do we have? Oh, we have a Blados with the bolt-ons here, but it's not fake out bolt-ons. So these bolt-ons on the Blados, you can, if you equip them, they will put these shoulder mounts on them, even if you don't have shoulder weapons. So you usually use them on the 4 PPC arm-mounted Bloodosp to make people think they can shoot the shoulders. But then everything just goes straight through.
Over here at GDSR, we have Highlander Keepers. This is going to be a straight brawl here. With SRMs, LBX-20s, we got a Warhammer with...
It's the same. It's the same from 2D20. Mustangs Firestarter, Griffin 2N. Oh, that's an interesting mech.
Yep.
4 SRM6. It's my
4
man there.
4 Veagle with an OBX-20.
And of course, the MPL, well, in this case, Streak, not SRMs. That's one of my favorite mechs to play in a broad strat on like Canyon or Hibernal. Still a Daka Bloodosp, but LB10 Sleipnir. An LB10 Sleipnir in a class-based, not tonnage-based. Very interesting pick. At that speed, you could also pick an Annie over it, maybe?
I'm more curious to see how much damage this Dual AC-20 few small pulse Warhammer is going to do.
So both these teams have each other completely scouted, but GDSR still have one Veagle in the low ground and the Timbers in the low ground. Meanwhile, one of their keepers is engaging 1v7.
Here comes one of the keepers about to go down by legs.
Exactly, but the Orion is also incredibly down.
There goes Sir Haven and
Where
Sylvanas.
did that happen?
Right there in the middle. He was in the Beagle.
He just went from like 100 to 0. What?
Maybe
Just
he poured
legs
out?
disappeared.
Nah.
Sad, no headshots.
A high roller in his onion might go down here soon. And there goes
We have
Grifter
the
and
Timbers
Elfcat.
down. We just have this one Veagle remaining.
We have
And
a little
the Keeper,
1v1.
but the Keeper is not going to do anything against.
There's a little bit of a 1v1 between the Firestarter and the Mistlinks. Yeah, it's safe to say this is in 2D20's favor.
I'm going to say the Snapnir farmed. It had enough time to shoot and bring those LB10s to their max potential, just abusing their optimal DPS.
Mm-hmm. All right, again, 2D20, Sorter, 519 in that Onion 2C. Samurai Prince got 476. Canadian Cyrus, 339. High Roller, 247. Chase Dark Flame, 452. Indigo Man, 322. Yuntao, 383. Tear, 222.
Ghost and the Keeper trying his absolute best, but not enough to make up for a pretty bad misplay, what I would say, from the other Keeper, and well, being 1 man down. Make it 2 man down because the Keeper basically just suicided.
Then that poor dual AC20 Warhammer 6R, 95 damage.
So while I get this all set out, we can take another look at the map. And I'll show you what I mean. Basically, they still had a Timberwolf stuck down here, a Veagle stuck down here, and the Warhammer was here, and the other Keeper was there. Meanwhile, Husavranas and the second Keeper just W-keyed through the middle and got shot at by what was from Team 1, the entire team on this side.
Yeah.
And that's something you can't do. What you have to do in this brawl is, right, both teams are in the circle. And especially if you're already 1 man down, you have to pick those favorable engagements. You can't full W key because you're always going to be at a disadvantage. If you get the fair fight, all of your team against all of their team, you're still going to lose. So what you have to do is basically hold angles, and the first person that comes around just gets those 2 keepers straight to the CT and disappears. And then it's 7v7, and it's a fair fight. We're going to be moving on to Frozen City Night Classic. Well, what is presumably going to be another World Strat, so
I'm hoping
it's
to
going to be
see
interesting.
some double Atlas action.
I would put my bets on double Annihilator, but I wouldn't mind dual Spirit Bears.
Well, as someone that did do an Atlas push on this map, I think it works out just well enough. But you have to commit, especially going right over ship. 100%. I mean, they are sitting at 520 tonnage, so
That's what, 10 tons off the maximum, so
I think it was what 10 or 20 tons, somewhere around there.
Yeah, it is 10 tons below the maximum. Executioners and Timberwolves.
So watching from the stream, it does look like Sir Haven tried to save the keeper by jumping in front of him to take some damage.
You can't. That's the thing, is if one of your mechs commits solo, you either call it and full W key with your entire team, and that can save them, or you say, hey, let's take the loss. Pushing a second mech in there is gonna make a 1v8 a 2v8. And that's still a fight you lose by a huge margin. So what you're effectively doing is just sacrificing a second mech. Almost for free. I mean, they did almost get the Orion, but the Orion could apparently circle out, survive till the till the end of the match.
All right, both teams are locked. Lobbies and so 520 tonnage to 455. Again, missing that one pilot is definitely showing how much of a difference in the tonnage.
And it's not just like tonnage, it's map control. You only have 7 people that can take up space on the map. It's simply more angles.
Oh.
Like, almost anyone can tell you that fighting 2 hunchbacks in a dire wolf will probably result in you losing.
So over here on the GDSR side, I have a gargoyle, an executioner, a linebacker, archer, fire starter, black lanterns.
It's a full rush deck.
Yeah.
It's a complete rush deck. On the other side, we have dual annihilators. I told you. And they're going through... No, they're not going through the tunnel. Good.
What's on the annies?
Quad LB10, small lasers. Then again, one Orion 2C. A Veagle. Very interesting.
I think he's there just to provide that.
Yes, a PPC Veagle just to provide the ability to farm in case it's a stall. GDSR is already in Bravo 4 though.
Yeah, these two Arctic cheetahs need to be careful. 100% 2D20 should have just scouted it to see what they were doing and be able to set up.
The thing is, GDSR theoretically has map control in this, as they have the faster assaults, but they cannot walk into those annihilators.
Which
there's not a single mech in the game that can win like a short range fight against that annihilator.
Yep. Looks like
there they go. They walk into the first one.
Yep. And those Arctic Cheetahs are right in the backfield. There goes Indigo, man.
Yeah, the Veagle not having enough DPS at all to defend against that push.
The Elfcat's Archer is legged. There goes Sir Haven.
Percentages are hugely in 2D20's favor.
Yuntao goes down. Cervantes goes down.
It's the second assault down. Ghost and the Lanner has already lost the... And the linebacker already lost a leg.
Yep.
And that's it.
Down.
It's just one Lanner left.
And it's Grifster, and it doesn't look like he's going to be able to pull much out of that.
Exactly what I said happened. They just walked into these Annies, and they have a huge amount of DPS. It's not just quad LB10, it's also quad LB10 with a cooldown quick and extra lasers. So yeah, both those Annies doing 600 and 400 damage. The counter stat to those Annies is just like ranged Pop-Tart, because they can't close in.
Yep.
It's kind of a rock paper scissors situation where ranged Pop Tart is going to get absolutely deleted by that Executioner Gargoyle deck, but any type of brawl deck that walks into those Annihilators is just going to die. Not much to draw on a map strat there. It's just...
Yeah. Right, we are swapping sides.
And this time they did have the Beagle that couldn't really... Well, it's too hot to contribute in the full-on brawl. So it was basically a 7v7, just that Annihilators farm.
All right, next is Domination Emerald Vale.
The first map where we maybe won't see a full push.
We'll see.
Come on, guys. Some diversity, please.
I mean, when in doubt, W key is the way to go.
Yeah, especially in like lower divisions. Not so much at like the absolute top end of the game, but even up to like Div C, even Div B. The fact that you push just puts enough pressure on the enemy team that they don't always know how to handle.
Yeah.
Because if you just run at someone, they have to make a decision, they have to reposition, they have to react. And generally playing reactive is inferior to playing proactive.
Yeah.
And
I also do think, brawling can definitely get that synergy for the team going, especially, you just won 2 matches, it's been working, everyone's communicating, talking, doing what they need to do, and it just really builds the team cohesion together.
yeah, and the other thing is that like if you have to react to brawl, it's something that you have to adjust your strategy mid-match, which is something that only a few teams have the experience to do. Well, like you can think about stuff before a match, you can make up some alternatives. If they do this, then we'll adjust our strat this way. But a lot of the time, you don't actually think of the strat that your enemy is doing. And while in a trade strat, if both teams play a trading deck, you have time to adjust. It doesn't matter if you take 15 seconds to think about it. If someone just straight up rushes at you with 2 gargoyles or 2 executioners, then no, 15 seconds is going to cost you the match.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the reason why these strats can be hugely effective, especially in lower divisions.
Just taking a look at where both teams are set up. Team 1 is set up more Alpha Charlie, so they kind of have their guys split a little bit. Well, Team 2 is just full Alpha Bravo on that left-hand side.
They're just taking the fastest spawns to the center.
Yeah.
It's not a huge difference on this map. Yeah, I'll show it.
I definitely think that 2D20 is going to push right up through Fox 4 and just go murk anything that's up there. All right, both teams are locked. Team 1, 455. 2D20, 475. Here we go.
I am maybe smelling a long range strat here from GDSR. I hope so. I think that's the best chance they have. in any brawl push, like having just 7 people is gonna hurt them a lot more than in a trade match, and having one less like medium trader doesn't matter doesn't matter a ton. Meanwhile, having one less brawl mech is just, well, an eighth of your DPS pretty much.
So 2d20.
A Lerm Supernova.
Oh, 2d20. Are you gonna be doing what I think you're doing?
Lerm Supernova.
We have
Push
Yuntai and
XE, Laser Bomb. We have the Heavy Machine Gun Viper. We have a Narc Medium Pulse Dervish, Machine Gun Mistlings, and Machine Gun Arctic Cheetah.
Over here,
So it's a full push.
Yeah,
with
over here on
Narcs.
GDSR, we got a Cicada 3F, Annihilator 1X, a Viper, Onion 2CA, a Marauder 2 Alpha, the Onion.
LB10 Annie, and yes, an Alpha with a bunch of UX.
Yep.
An Orion with Brawl. Another Orion with Brawl. If they can mitigate the Lerms on this, they can win. But they have to be decisive and fast. Then again, the Annie isn't a decisive and fast mech. It's the one that you want the enemy team to walk into.
They have 4BX10 small lasers. They can
Do they see the strike?
They have to.
That's lucky. Very, very lucky. 0 damage.
Oh, that missing sees them.
That's
and there's
the other thing about 0 damage on such a strike is sometimes you drop strikes just to see if you get hits. And if you get 0 hits, that like leads to false scouting.
There comes the Lerms. Right on goes, those Lerms is instantly hitting them.
That's actually not the worst. The Orion is quite tanky. And if that Atlas gets into the match, there it goes. That's the Evangeg down.
Yep.
They're focusing the wrong mechs though. They shouldn't be on the Viper.
Oh, there goes the Viper too.
Viper is down as well.
And there goes Ghost.
Now it's the Orion, but percentages in favor of GDSR. The only problem they have is that they don't have anyone screening against the Mistlings and Arctic.
There goes Grifster. And the Alpha and the Annie were stuck.
They need to send a light. They need to send their Cicada, or they need to send the Mistlings now to just. That Mistlings is occupied trying to get the Executioner or the Dervish. What they needed to do is send one light and bully the Supernova, because what the Supernova is doing is just point at screen and hold mouse button 1. And that's not okay.
The Lermec got to do exactly what 2D20 needed him to do, and that's just damage everything.
Exactly. And
yep, there goes the legs of the Annihilator.
Yeah, and the Annie is not going to be fast enough to win against the Lermec. And of course, the Supernova gets the final kill. As it should. Our Lord and Savior, Lerms. That was honestly the closest match so far. If only they had sent a light to kill or distract the Supernova, they could have won that. But as it stands, almost 600 damage. A bunch of damage from the surviving light that got a lot of back shots early. Even though they got 2 super early picks, there's not much after that.
Yeah. I think really the big story here is just.
Also, I forgot to swap the teams in the overlay. I'm sorry.
I definitely think the story right here is just not having that one extra mech, that little bit extra of DPS.
So yeah, it's just about letting the Supernova farm. As soon as you see Lerms, you send one mech. And the Supernova either turns around, tries to deal with the light mech, and then you've traded 1 for 1. You've traded a light mech for an assault. or it doesn't turn around and you just get free backshots. And then the other thing is a tiny bit of focusing a Viper over a Timberwolf, which is not the best idea because the Viper is a lot harder to hit and a lot tankier in the end. And secondly, some backshots from Yunto and the Mislinks and the Arctic Cheetah, and they could have been screened. Now we're going to be moving on to the last match, which is HPG. Hopefully a map we all know, as this was one of the 5 drops, or the 5 maps for last year's World Championship.
Oh, HPG.
Good old HPG.
Yep. I still remember being in a commando, running from loot, getting DPS into its top 12. I don't know. 2D20 coming off of a 5-0 win against AW.
Making this a really strong start of the season.
Yeah. Like,
don't know how the kitchen heatsinks played against BLWC, but presumably not 5-0.
yeah, because
Actually, I can probably look that.
I'm pretty sure they haven't even played yet, if I'm not mistaken.
No, they have not played. They will play tomorrow. Oh no, actually, they will be playing in a few hours.
So, because I know right now Kitchen Heatsinks is 5-0.
Yeah, both teams are 5-0, but Kitchen Heatsink got a forfeit, so a free 5-0 against GDSR, who's now playing with 7 players.
Even then, getting those 5 free extra wins, huge. But shall see.
And even just getting close in a 7v8, getting that really close drop on Veil is honestly a pretty good achievement.
Yeah. Huge.
Props to GDSR.
Huge testament to them. ISC last ISC we had to drop against SROT with 5 pilots instead of 6. We definitely made it worth their while. But it's still it's a huge tonnage disparity, huge damage disparity.
I mean, I've had a lot of matches where someone disconnected in comp queue or something, and if the other team is like somewhat close to your skill level, it's really hard to still win.
Yeah, disconnects, huh?
Yeah. 2D20 not going down to 7 players, well, they don't have to, and to be honest, I wouldn't either.
Oh no.
But they are
advantage.
rotating a lot of players, so I don't think this is their entire A team.
I do believe that they have quite a few amount of pilots on their team, a good chunk of them brand new to comp, which is always really great to see. You know, it kind of gives more people getting more experience to show off their talents, to show off what they can do.
Keeps this comp scene alive.
Yeah, 100%. I think arguably right now, I think my favorite match so far was TSL and CXF last night. Watching that was just those last 2 drops were great.
Gotta be honest, I think the no PC versus the Japanese gibberish was the closest match I've seen so far.
Yeah. I think also yesterday, European Dragoons and Legio also went down to 3-2. It came down to the final map of HPG, where Legio actually had the advantage down in the basement on this map, if I remember correctly, and just got out DPS.
It's going to be interesting, as this is a map that you usually don't want to brawl on. Still, oh, this is not a brawl deck. From both teams, this is not a brawl deck. And we are getting the switch up to full trade at Kodiak. Oh.
Hi. Is it Goss?
It's Quad Goss. Someone really knows me. It's amazing. I kind of just want to hop into his cockpit and spectate the match from there, but I'm obliged to give an aerial view. We of course have a direwolf with arm Goss ER large. Very interesting. Usually you would put that on the right torso and right arm for better convergence. Of course, ER large night gear. Stormcrow is very interesting. A streak ER micro Stormcrow. Okay.
Yeah.
And again, a cap incubus enemy stinks.
I love the cap incubus. I think it's really cool. It's a really nice capping mech. Something you don't really expect.
Yeah, and it's also one that can still fight, contrary to like a Spider 5e.
Yeah, over here on the GDSR side, you have a Viper, Ghost OTCS in the Direwolf, a 4-year large 2 Goss, Sir Haven in a Cap Spider, Local Man steals mech in an Annihilator.
Yes, a lot of normal mechs, but there's a Hellfire. There's a UX20 SRM Hellfire, and that's what we're here for.
That's all we need.
Gaussier large Direwolf. Large Annihilator is a bit of a weird choice on HPG, because everything here is like 1400 away. And the Annihilator doesn't get a range quick, so a Stalker with a range quick and big TC would probably perform better.
Look, let's be honest. As his name says, he probably stole the Annihilator. It's okay. What he had in his garage at the time.
So 2D20 has a really big cap advantage. Full cap on all their caps.
I think that's what
GDSR are not even contesting Theta, going straight for Sigma with the Spider 5V. That's generally... And 2D20 is going back, but the other Spider is going for going for Kappa.
There's gonna be 4 mechs there.
They're cap stratting this. Very interesting. Yento has to just deny the cap.
Oh, right here, the Mistling's got in the rear of the Hellfire.
Meaning the rest of their traders have to just trade alone. They did get Sigma, they're about to get Kappa. As long as GDSR can get out of this without losing a mech, they're in a really good spot, having a 4 cap.
Well, this Kodiak, this linebacker right here,
linebacker is gonna die for this. He's dropping onto the wrong side, dropping into the night gear, dropping into the line of sight of the Direwolf. Gonna have 2 lights on him. That's it.
Getting nommed on.
That's game over for the linebacker.
Yep.
The Viper is also legged. So they lost 2 mechs to get these caps. And Sigma is just gonna get capped again. They actually are gonna lose the Hellfire as well because it didn't rotate out. So they're just gonna lose 3 mechs. And now it's down to 2 trade mechs and 2 cap spiders. And to be entirely honest, they can't hold a 3 cap with that. So they're gonna try and take Theta, try to keep the 4 cap up as long as possible, but the only way, well, GDSR is winning this is caps. It's 4v8, and percentages aren't looking great. This is not really winnable on kills.
Yeah, that Kodiak from 2D20 is already at 50%.
see lasers going all across, but now light mechs, the Viper's already going in on Theta. The Spiders need to realize that and get out of there. They have the full cap. They have 4 caps. The only cap they could get is Sigma, but if you look at the minimap, there's like 2 billion UAVs above it. So
Yeah.
if they even try rotating there. Actually, almost all of those UAVs have already expired. My minimap is just weird. So there's just 1 UAV above Sigma. So they could get there. But they're instead trying to hold Gamma? They're not going to get there with the 2 cap. So they have to take back Sigma. They can't go for Theta because there's mechs there. They can't go for Kappa because there's mechs there. But now that the Kodiak has also jumped off, they could go for Sigma. And that's what Sir Haven is trying to do. You cannot stop there. You can't sit there and pump up a UAV. You have to just keep going. Take the Gauss.
There goes the leg. Yep. That Spider's down.
And that should be the match. Unless the other Spider here. It's doing cheeky stuff, but the Incubus here, Plato, is gonna hold Kappa as long as he can. He can for quite some time.
Got legged.
Yunto is losing trades though. But all of these mechs for 2D20 are simply too fresh, and they're gonna have a 4 cap in a second. The Night Gear does go down. The Direwolf will go down if he trades again. Having a 1-touch CT.
47.
The other Night Gear is also really, really hurt. If he does go out again, he will probably lose his mech. There goes Yunto, popping up. As soon as... Oh. Viper taking down Ghost and the Direwolf, and that's it. The Annihilator can't defend itself against the Viper. What's at 37% and still has both side torsos. It's a rare sight. Do you see a strike coming in? Misses him completely. The Cap Spider also just running around.
Oh, that Cap Spider is still up.
It's legged. It's legged. Okay, yeah. That decided it way earlier then.
Yeah.
Maybe the Spider can get the Direwolf that just dropped. If no one else drops onto Theta, it can totally get him. The Night Gear is also like way too hurt. The Viper is almost legged.
Down to Theta.
Oh no, you're looking the wrong way. No. There goes the Vipers here as well.
That's the game and the match.
5-0 for 2D20.
Yeah.
Even though being 1 player down, GDSR putting up quite a fight, honestly. Ghost. Oh, Indigo Man doing 750 in the Night Gear.
Ghost almost pulling 1,000 damage. I think this is the highest number I've seen so far. So.
It's really good fight. Of course, the Spiders doing 20 each. I don't think those are the mechs to bring if you're already a player down, because you're essentially trading 5v8, and there's honestly no way you can win that. Like 6v8, okay, but if you're already a player down, don't bring dual Spiders. Never. Let's ask if they want to do some interviews.
Mm-hmm. You're gonna have to drag them.
Of course.
I don't have special casting privilege.
keep a map start up just so people can look at the map while we talk about it. Right, there they are.
Oh,
Hello.
okay.
Howdy, guys.
Hello.
Hello.
How you doing today?
Oh, you know,
I've been better.
Yeah. Sopranus, I just want to say I love everything about you, okay? Just want to get it out of the water.
That's cool. The funny thing was, so I know
Yeah,
we
well,
talked before. I was already expecting to be down at least one guy, maybe
uh-huh.
two, because one guy was a maybe, and then the one of the guys who said they weren't going to be available said they were going to be available. So I
Uh,
was thinking I was going to have eight, but then one of the guys that said that they were going to be here never showed up. So
I mean, all things
that's
considered, y'all definitely smacked our nose pretty bloody a couple of those times. Like, I mean, I don't know how far of it I can go, but uh, I think if we did drop a little bit lower, like just to clarify for everybody at home, we're pirates. We've done the drop lower numbers before and got instantly like regretted it. So we didn't this time, but to be honest, I think it's fair. I owe you one, so I will. I appreciate everything you do. If you see me in quick play, I will sacrifice myself. I'll be your meat shield, whatever I got to do. But it's still good playing
nah.
with you, man.
It's cool. It's cool. It was still fun. It was just a lot of we had a lot of new guys that are new to comp
Mm-hmm.
and such. So it went about as much as I was expecting. I figured it was gonna be rough.
No, for sure. Like
Yeah.
we're still roughly doing a half bag. We have thankfully a couple people at least doing one like competitive thing, but we still have I think 3 or 4 people who are still trying to more and more convince them. No, play, come join us. So I feel you, homie. But hey, good fight either way. Logan Man steals
Yeah,
Max. Tell him I
yeah,
said hi.
Yeah.
we'll do.
I gotta say, GDSR, you guys pulled it pretty close on most of these matches. And they almost always were just like, especially on Veil, they were like 1 or 2 misplays that really just cost you the match, and that was almost a win.
Absolutely.
Oh,
But
let me
let's
tell
talk
you
about
about one like
River.
this.
oh,
Yeah.
What
Let's talk
was
about
the
it.
idea going
Yeah.
into that with all these DACA assaults and heavies?
Are you talking for 2D20 or are you talking
For
for
GDSR.
Okay, yeah,
So let me just say straight up, I hate River City.
yeah.
I
I
hate
agree
trying to
with
do
you.
anything on River City. I definitely wanted to avoid doing anything on Citadel because forget the Citadel. Um, so I did want to try to at least go with something that had a little bit more range, some DACA there. We also had some pilots that have limited mech choices, so that also we weren't really able to bring a lot of optimal stuff either. Um, but I did want to at least put the high city or upper city into play there a bit. I felt like we could have, just we didn't have a lot of focus at all. First there was the executioner, then they went to hide, and then the blood ass was just pushing straight at us, and like I was ripping into that, and that's the
Yeah, you
target I
were.
called. He just weren't like I like when I died, I noticed that people were shooting like everywhere,
Yeah.
and then I thought the blood ass was already dead, but he was still alive, and I was like, ah. Um, so yeah, there just wasn't a lot of focus in that first one. I felt like we probably could have done a little bit better as we did, but yeah.
Mm. Well, I saw 2D20 just completely beeline it across to like underneath the bridge. What was the idea
Yeah.
there? Running there
So
without any scouting at all.
yeah, it was so our scouting was being team 1 and then being team 2. We knew that they were going to drop 4 when we saw in Charlie. The original plan was to still do the same route. We were hoping that our light mechs get there quicker, which they got there pretty much at the time we were going up the ramp. So admittedly, the first matches always feel like a little rubbish. Like we were definitely a little sloppy on that first one. But we corralled a little bit. We made the push. The goal though was like, okay, if we see them drop Charlie, we feel more confident about this push because we thought they were going to run range. They were not running range, but we thought they were going to try to hold some spots up there and maybe try to do a cap game, securing the airport flag and Theta and maybe their gimme flag at first, and then kind of running a cap game after that. So our goal was to just take out whatever range mechs we could there quickly and efficiently. We went the low ground so we could deny as much info as possible, which I'm curious, did y'all know until we were there? Like when we got into the fight with y'all, were you all aware we were down there?
I was aware of the two lights that were near the other end of the bridge, closer to the airport. But I didn't know the assaults were that close. So
Yeah, they went
Okay.
completely
your
unscouted.
plan worked there. Yeah, I did call for the lights to do a little bit of scouting to keep an eye where you guys were going, but they didn't pick you guys up.
Yeah,
So
the most important thing about pushing is scouting. You need to know what you're pushing into. Because let's just say they also bring a rush strat, but they bring full-on SRMs and LB20s. And you rush into it with your laser vomit rush. You die.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough.
So, I saw the decks, and I saw you guys rushing over, and I pretty much almost, instantly said, oh, this is GDSR's match to win. Because the superior DPS of Dako will beat Laser Vomit in a brawl. But what happened is you guys stalled at that edge of the upper city, and there was 15 seconds of just trades going back and forth, and the Dakamex simply don't have the Alpha Strike to trade efficiently, so they got beat up in those initial 15 seconds, and then the rest was just cleanup.
Yep.
So I think the right play there would have been just for GDSR to counter push.
Definitely would have hurt. We were mostly all there, but like our favorite eagle wasn't quite there. But that was kind of on me. I accidentally told him to go to Kappa instead of the Gamma flag on airport. So whoops.
Yeah, he at the end of that fight, he was still at 99%, and
Yeah, that was my bad.
I know I've done that too. Probably at Thylis, it was Bog. He was in a night gear, still sitting at like 90% at the end of the match. 100%. Like I still definitely think watching y'all's Blood Ass, because Ghost kept saying, "Oh, Blood Ass is gonna go down. He's gonna go down." That Blood Ass stayed through almost that entire fight till
I
he finally
tried.
went down.
I haven't played my Blood Dust in a while, so I forgot how hot it was. But otherwise, I feel like it did okay. I just kept on trying to armor twist with the jump jets, and I think it helped me a little longer. But I do agree with Severanis, and the same thing for my team. Our focus fire wasn't that strong until I started kind of yelling, not yelling, but like getting everyone to do it. But yeah, it definitely I was spread out. There was a lot of people going from our rear armor instead of just like legs. So I think that probably kind of went for why it went for a little bit longer.
Like I agree that probably the good smart play would have been to probably counter push. I was more worried about it was the very first drop. I was kind of worried about how the actual numbers would play into it. So I just wanted us to at least focus on whatever pushed on us first. There just wasn't a lot of focus.
Yeah,
like at all.
Not a lot of focus fire, and then again, you're playing around those buildings, playing a kind of peaky pokey style at the beginning, and that's just not what for example, the UX5, UX2 Marauder 2 is simply not good at that. You just have to realize you're going to lose trades against those laser vomit mechs, and just, as wrong as it seems, hold the W key into the mechs that are pushing you.
We definitely had some chaotic fights, especially later on. So it would have even been more interesting. But I honestly, you guys did great. I liked your Wolfpack coming in and trying to like peel off what they could. I was pretty impressed by like how quickly y'all were trying to corral everyone. We were hoping like some of the like Kappa Crab and stuff like that would have maybe set your lights way off to the other side of the map, even buying us more time to like try to deal with your main tonnage. But it was a gamble for sure, and I do agree with you. Ultimate goes scouting it would have been way better than anything else, but looks like the gamble paid off, so I can't be too upset about it.
Well, that's what comp is. It's always a gamble.
Moving on to Hibernal.
Hibernal.
Hibernal, the keeper push.
What
That
happened?
was so cool.
Yeah, what exactly happened there? First,
what happened with the Timberwolf and the Beagle being stuck in the low ground while you guys were pushing the first keeper over the center? for
Wait, which
I
one?
GDSR.
have no
Okay.
idea.
I think it was
Honestly,
even
I have
you and
no
that
idea what
keeper,
really happened there.
Sobranis.
So yeah, the
Well-
key there was that keeper in the middle of the Charlie 3, Charlie 4 area, and then I saw the Vigo kind of like jump in front to try and take some of that damage. Ended up killing himself too for it.
So, oh, go ahead. My bad.
So I had called for the push over the center once we were all there. I did want like a group to kind of wrap around, primarily the faster mechs to kind of wrap around to get to the backsides. Because
Yeah.
when you're pushing over through Theta, it's not that. I mean, it's wide enough for a few mechs, but it's not that wide for a full push to go into one direction like that. So you do kind of want to split up a little bit so that more mechs can get into the fight, especially at different angles. I it went so fast. I'm not really sure what all happened. So what all you described there, I had this is the first time knowing about it.
So,
Well, yeah, you still had 2 mechs stuck in the low ground while you started your push. So you
Yeah.
basically were, and then 3 other mechs or something like that noticed it probably and like were hesitating because well, there was still mechs not being able to push, and you just I think played 1v8 in that scenario.
Yeah, just immediately watching that keeper get legged, and then the Vigo trying to save him. Just
But like that's not inconsequential. If
so
you have one mech rushing in and you go and try to save it, you make it a 2v8 instead of a 1v8. It does not matter.
Well, it wasn't supposed to be just one mech rushing in because when I looked, I saw that we were all there. And when I looked to my right, the ones that were on the right, did they fall down from where
They
were up
were
above or
still
something?
down. The Vigo was still down, and the Vapor, I think, was trying to make its way up.
Okay, because last time when I looked over there, they looked like they were actually on the top side. So I didn't see what happened after that.
So, if I may, put my hand up.
Yeah, sure.
Let's go. So I think I know why, but I obviously I don't know for sure. So I was in the Griffin 2N and I fell. Like I was fumbling with myself more than I was with the enemy. But the one thing I noticed, and one of my other pilots said this happened as well. I think it came back to the focus again because I had a Highlander basically holding the dropship ramp of me coming up behind y'all. And I kind of just tanked it at one point, and then I got free shots into the back of a Vapor Eagle. I had the Timberwolf look at me at that point. I ended up by not really doing much damage, by just existing, was able to bring a lot of the fire away from the front, the middle congestion, towards me. And I stayed alive. I mean, I got out of that situation and stayed alive a little bit longer. Just, I mean, you guys quickly killed me not too long after that. But at that point, the Highlander got legged, the Vapor Eagle was down. Like, there was, I think what ended up happening was just chaos. Whether I did it intentionally or not, we'll leave that up to debate or chat. But I definitely got into it, and that might have just pulled a little bit away. One of my light pilots did say after the fact that something similar happened to him in the fire starter, or him in the Mistlings. He just put shots on people, and people just turned their fire to focus on him. So I think, I mean, again, my team did it too to like try to be middle ground with you, but I think it just came down to focus fire. People getting distracted by mechs hitting the flanks or the backs, and then not their front tonnage. So
Yeah, I think there was just not a lot of focus fire and like not a lot of coordination for that push.
No, there wasn't.
yeah,
I knew
but
there wasn't.
yeah, that's 100% like one of those really hard things. You have to work on, especially with pushes and like because my team we push this map exactly. We just push a different angle, and it was still just a lot of chaos, a lot of trying to get everybody to get together and do what we need to do. So I definitely feel y'all on that.
And I don't know about what everybody's plan is, but I know for us, we've had an issue with wolf packs getting to the rear of our heavies and assaults. So for some of these drops, not all of our drops, but some of the drops, we just started bringing a streak mech. Not because it's necessarily the best, like maybe you could just do better with just a bunch of machine guns on a mech or something. But for some of our pilots, streak mechs seem to work. And so we just kind of consistently doing that. And their goal is like when we get to the fight, their goal is not to necessarily focus on the focus target if we have like other enemy lights hitting. Maybe part of that also we basically just try to plan for any kind of situation. It doesn't always work out, but that's what we do.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Moving on
Frozen
to
City?
Frozen.
Yum.
Why the Gargoyle over a second Executioner is my biggest question for GDSR. Was there a specific
So-
reason or just mech player preference?
It was preference. I actually had 2 gargoyles listed there. It was mainly for the more speed. It was I originally wanted 2 gargoyles. I believe it was Haven took the executioner. I just stayed with the gargoyle because I personally like that one more than an executioner. But yeah, it was. I just wanted more speed with it than the executioner, even though it has mask on it, would be able to provide.
Yeah. I think that one was actually the one you played the best. Like, there's no apparent misplays there from either team. It's just, and I also mentioned this earlier, it's a kind of rock, paper, scissors situation where the Brawl Annies will beat any other mech in a head-on brawl because they just have the most DPS.
They're
But
rude.
if any
yeah.
mid-range, long-range deck would have absolutely destroyed that Annie deck. And then the Gargoyle deck would have absolutely destroyed any mid-range, long-range deck because they're just fast enough to rush them down. So it's the situation where you simply had bad luck on your enemy's strat. I think.
In all fairness, we played against them in ISC, and y'all beat the crap out of us. Like it was definitely like really good matches, but they beat us up. The one thing to be consistently remembered was that they ran fast brawl. And so when we were defining these draft decks, like we had a general idea what we wanted to do, and then we changed a little bit of it to reflect the team we were playing against. Like, and we pretended that we were playing against 8, like when we were planning these draft decks, because plus we didn't know, but if it was going to work out that way or not. But we did plan for y'all to consistently run brawl of some type, maybe quick brawl, and so that's purposely why on this map I was maybe trying to do a pocket Annie situation. I agree. If we ran into range, those Annies wouldn't have gone into anything. Like we probably would have to do a Charlie 3 push and then just kind of hope it works out. But we went light on Wolfpack. Y'all probably could have sniped those up. We were just thankful that you saw the Vapor Eagle before they saw the rest of the Annies.
I'll
Yeah.
definitely
Yeah,
say I'll definitely say like one thing that would have saved both teams there, kind of figuring out what y'all was like like just a really good UAV or even a misling just burning his JJs, just trying to get that early scouting and everything. Would have saved both teams. Like, hey,
Yeah.
they're pushing, so we can set up for this.
We had info from one of our Arctic Cheetahs and then the confirmation from our Vapor Eagle. We, for some reason, thought a tunnel push was going to happen, so we had hella UAVs set up at the tunnel entrances and became unnecessary whatsoever. But we tried for what we had.
Yeah, we saw a couple where there was the Orion near the saddle. Someone did spot an Annie. I didn't see it though, but I was aware that there was an Annie around. At least until I actually saw it, I wasn't able to really call it out. But that main focus there was because we knew somebody was over at Theta, so we at least knew you had at least one mech down at the time. So we just wanted to at least rush where we could and try to take out, focus on what was
Nice.
there.
Yeah.
And yeah, like after we got the Veagle down, I did see the Annihilator at that point. So that was the next target that was called. So he went down pretty fast from what I saw.
Yeah, I
So
went
Yeah.
by pretty quick. You did a good job. Good
I
focus
was
fire.
I was dead at that point. But yeah, it was, and I'm actually surprised you planned for the speed brawl because when we did ISC, you were the only guys we did the speed brawl against.
Oh, really?
Yes.
That's
Yes.
really even funnier.
I didn't. My plan is with my team is I don't want to be too predictable.
For sure.
So I
Yeah.
did want to switch it up. So I mean, that was actually the only one we really did a speed roll on. I
Yeah,
guess
no,
kind of the last
absolutely.
match too, but yeah. But you guys did good with it.
Well, yeah. But slow brawl almost always beats speedy brawl, and speed
Yeah.
brawl beats trade usually, or it has the best chance, and slow brawl loses to trade.
Yeah, it does. I mean, and I knew that. It just we don't know what they're actually taking until we see them.
Yeah.
And
The
it's a
only
good match,
misplay I think
so.
is focusing the Veagle, because the Veagle is the one mech that won't do anything. It doesn't have the heat capacity to actually do damage in a full-on brawl.
It was right there.
It was right there, so you shoot
It was
it,
right
of
there in front
course.
of us. So
Yeah. I feel that
Again,
you-
like, not really a misplay. It's just the tiniest bit you could have done better.
And again, two Annies
It-
versus a 8v7. I mean, I thought you guys were gonna win that at one point, to be honest, just
Yeah,
because of how
yeah,
quickly I went down.
it was more of just call a target until we see more bigger targets of opportunity. Because, like I said, I don't want us to like rush like through an entire like squad of mechs just to focus on one target. If we have something right there that we can shoot and take out on the way, then all the better.
Yeah,
So that's
exactly.
why the Veagle.
Yes.
So until we found the assaults, at least get something down.
So second to last, Emerald Vale.
Oh boy, that was also a close one.
I
That
actually thought
was,
we would
in my
have that
opinion,
one.
the closest match.
Yeah, for sure.
That Lerm Supernova.
Yeah,
The Lerm Supernova was allowed to farm. That's
Yeah.
the one thing.
Yeah, I saw the UAV. I called it out. I don't think anyone was able to take it down.
You
Though.
should have just sent one light, I think.
Did you even see the strike that was right behind y'all? That got placed, started
Like
going
super
off.
early.
Yeah.
No, I heard it.
It was incredibly lucky. There was like 3 shells going right next to your mechs.
Was it the
Minimum.
one in Delta 3? Was that
Yes.
that one?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I put that one out, but I didn't get any hits
Yep.
on it. So
Yeah, 0 hits.
Oh,
we
damn.
started pushing around. We started pushing around the left, and then I started hearing artillery strikes, and I'm like, "Oh wow!"
That was so close. All right. Oh well.
But yeah, if you see that one Lerm mech, just send a light after it. It either turns around and it doesn't Lerm anymore, or it just gets backshot. And I think the other thing that
Yeah.
sealed it really was the 2D20's lights coming in the back.
Yeah, that was I called for like some of the light support to get the lights out of the back because I was trying to focus, and they just kept hitting me in the back. I think they even took out one of my legs, so that didn't help.
You're the Marauder.
Yeah, I was in the alpha. I actually originally was gonna bring a Sleipnir, but I was like, you know what?
Ooh.
I'll just bring this because I tend to do better with the alpha than the Sleipnir, and also because I just wanted to like lay in and just like be like the meme anyway. So I just started blasting, and what didn't help was at one point, the our annihilator was like turning around or something, and I was trying to get past him to get to a shot because he was moving forward first. He stopped, turned around. I don't know what was happening there. So getting stuck like that stalled at least some of the push as well because with some of those pathways it's too narrow for anybody to really stop in case they're taking fire. They have to keep pushing forward so that more can actually get in as well.
Yeah.
It's one of the
I
things
do
that
what I could.
My bad. Go ahead.
No, I'm done. Go ahead.
I was gonna say it's one of the things that we picked up on is so far is that we've been trying to encourage our lights. I was the misslings for that one, but we've been trying to encourage our lights to, hey, when the brawl envelops, if unless you have a designated like focus of what you're supposed to do part of the match, to circle around. I actually thought I was too slow at my flank going around and hitting you guys in the back. Because the brawl was already fully developed at that point. But I think that's what happened if I remember correctly. I shot at you in the Marauder, and then the Annie. I just put shots on just to pull its attention away from the front line, and it obliged. It cored out one of my legs, but didn't strip it completely. So it props to I think local man was in that one. He did put his shots in, they did hurt, but the Cicada had a hard time being able to duel with me right off the bat, and the rest of the team was still firing away. And someone did spot the Supernova. A Supernova did let us know that they were seen, but then the person just seemed to ignore them and keep running into the main brawl.
Exactly, and that's just not what you should be doing. Lerm mechs are incredibly strong in this like brawl v brawl scenario. If they can just keep raining because you have constant locks, they're really strong.
That's why we were trying it. It wasn't supposed to be like a meme drop. We have a lot of Lerm pilots in our unit who want to bring more Lerms into it. And admittedly, we've seen a lot of which great job on all the casts out there for FW Comp, but we've seen a lot of the higher divisions bring like one Lerm mech in each of their drops. So we did want to try it and see how it performed. And we were pretty okay with it. We definitely need to work out a lot.
Yeah, you were right on the call that I should have had the lights go after the Lerm boat.
Exactly. And like one heavier medium can just turn around and keep the other lights that are in your back busy, right? It's one mech that just keeps two other mechs busy for a while. It won't win that fight. It'll lose it and it will die for it, but you're just keeping them busy, you're just distracting them from getting free back shots.
Yeah. I think what mainly played into my decisions was the fact that we were one man down. So I felt like having even splitting even one mech off would have give
Yeah,
us like even more of a disadvantage. So
That's fair.
it
Yeah.
was it was a gamble on my part doing it that way. But I should just went with it.
that's a huge disadvantage from the start anyways, so
All that extra armor, damage, everything.
yeah. Extra scouting, extra map control even. Looking at HPG, very interesting play with a dual Spider 5V.
It was good though. It almost worked.
I loved it.
I was kind of hoping we'd be going up against like more of a brawl or somebody that would be trying to go like trying to camp in Theta
Mhm.
or something. So I mainly focused on just keeping that cap control. And we did the Spiders did a good job, at least getting the 4 cap there for a while, but then we started going down. My mistake was having me and the other 2 fast mechs go to where the enemy ranged were. I should have just had us go down to Theta, because at least that way we wouldn't have had fire on from the walls on us, but we could at least contest Theta, try to get the enemy lights to come down here, so at least we could minimize how many are shooting at us. So that play was a mistake on my part, because I knew that, and the main reason why I had us try to go after the snipers was because we only had 2 as for Overwatch, and they were just gonna be outgunned for that part. So we wanted to at least give them some kind of support for that. Um, but
Yeah.
ended up being the wrong choice.
The problem is that you're playing 7v8 and then you pick 2 cap spiders, means you're effectively playing 5v8. And there's only so much your 3-man Wolfpack can do, especially if they're completely out of the trader's line of sight.
True.
Yeah, I mean that was just a tough match. Like we played this map in Mining Collective specifically a lot during the championship, and this is roughly what we ran was wall snipers because they're annoying. Um, we're used to pilots going to the basement. Honestly, what it comes down for us was that if we know if our wolf pack got taken out, we were lost, and so we were trying to be very careful about us scouting because most of the time when we play those matches, even the wall snipers do well, the wolf pack is dead. Then the caps go your way, and that's we actually purposely kept our wolf pack out of Theta. Like we had them just corralled in Echo 4 until we were in a better position to like assist them. But yeah, as soon as you guys went to take our gimme flag, which fair enough, understandable, we were able to kind of duck behind buildings and still offer support for a wolf pack who came and engaged without having to worry about the traders on the other side. And
Yeah.
so it just went that way.
Especially with like assaults not really having the mobility for this map, you lights end up being the most important thing.
The
Because you
old
can
quad
gank stuff,
Kodiak.
you can cap. Oh yes, Quad Gas Kodiak. Who came up with that?
So one of our pilots, he was a tier 5 pilot, and he got to tier 1 with the Annie for LB10s. Thank you, Data. And then the Kodiak Forgos, he just tried it one time, and he's fell in love with it. I can't get him to play anything else, honestly. So
Alright, give that man a medal.
yeah, all right, cool. I'll let him know. He's
because
gonna
he
love
brought
hearing
a
that.
Quad Gas Kodiak. And that's
All right.
the other thing though, tell him to put an extra PPC on that, because why just
Okay.
Quad Gas? You have heat sinks. Might as well use them.
All right, there you go, Buck. You got love from everybody else who's cooler. So fine, you get the trophy now. He's gonna hate. I'm not. Thanks a lot, guys. I'm gonna have to deal with this when I get back home. All right. I just hope you know that he's never gonna let me live it down.
Well, that's not your problem.
Yep, that is. Yep.
Good job, Buck. Good job, Buck.
Alright.
But yeah.
Again,
All right.
well played to both teams. GDSR putting on a really good fight for being a player down.
I definitely know how that feels. ISC last year, so mad respects for even
Yeah.
showing up.
I hope you guys
80-20.
get
I do
8
wanna
next week, and I'm really excited to
Yeah.
see what you can pull off with
Mhm.
all your players there.
I refused to hand out another forfeit. So, because I knew like when we were supposed to go up against the kitchen heat sinks before, and we were only going to have 6, and I was like, actually, we weren't even going to have 6. We were going to have 4.
Damn.
There was only going to be 4 that were available, so I had to forfeit that. So yeah, it just ended up being bad luck there. But I didn't want to hand out another one.
Well, I'm glad we got to play too. I know it's not ideal for what you wanted, but I've always enjoyed playing against your team. Well, I'm sure you'll have a lovely rematch against me at some point.
Oh, I look forward to it.
I bet.
I say, isn't y'all's division playing everybody twice?
Is it? Maybe.
Not that I'm
Possibly.
Yes.
not that I'm aware of.
No, they're not.
Oh,
Indeed
Oh,
not.
okay.
That-
Okay. Oh, that would be
It's a
sick,
6-team
though.
div.
Well, hey, Severana, since we've already played against each other,
Yes,
if you
10-week tournament.
yes.
if you need a scrim buddy, just let me know. No, we'll make it work.
All right, can
Alright,
do.
guys. I will end the stream here.
Yeah.
GG's to everyone, and thanks for watching
GG's!
to all
GG's.
the viewers here.
Bye, viewers!
Goodbye.
Thanks for the casting.
Later, guys.
Yeah, honestly, thanks for the cast, guys. That was awesome.